Jessii Vee, and I feel so sparkly today. Look at my elbows. Look at them. So, as you can tell by the title of today's video, today we're going to be talking about mood rings. Now, about a week ago, I did the history of magic 8 balls, and you guys really seem to like that sort of thing. So I thought I would move on to mood rings. And although they don't predict your future, they do apparently predict your mood. So we're gonna go into the history, the creepy facts, the creepy experiences. We're gonna get into all of it. But before we get started, I just want to announce that on November 30th, my sister Mandy and I are doing a virtual meet and greet. It's going to be on my sister's account, and I'm going to be appearing as a guest for the first half an hour. So if you would like to get your tickets to meet us virtually, the link is down below in the description. You can meet us from anywhere in the world. It's so exciting. And also, don't forget that the Christmas mystery boxes, they're going so quickly. You guys love them. I'm so happy. They are packed with a bunch of mysterious, mystical fantasy items that I absolutely love. So if you would like yours in time for Christmas, those links are down below in the description as well. Alright, so let's get into the history of mood rings. By the way, we've all had one before, right? Like, you guys must have owned a mood ring at one point, or at least like touched one before? I mean, even me as a 25-year-old adult, I'm still like fascinated by them. Anyways though, let's talk about the history. The mood ring was invented in 1975 by Joshua Reynolds, who took an incredibly simple product idea and turned it into a national craze. What's crazy is that they originally sold for $45 if you wanted it to be silver plated, and $250 if you wanted it to be gold plated. And now, in today's day, you can get them for like $1, $5, $10. They're super cheap now. I guess when they first came out into the public, they wanted to seem like this fancy, expensive, cool product, and then it was too much money. Millions of rings sold in just 3 months, coming to a total of 20 million in sales in its first year. So you could definitely say they were kind of popular. I mean, people even had mood wedding rings. Yeah, he came up with the idea after seeing a physician friend apply thermotropic tape to a kid's forehead to measure temperature. And yes, they used to do this. I don't know if they still do, but if you were sick and you felt like you had a fever, there was this time period where instead of like using a normal thermometer, they would like put something to your head and see what the color would show. So that was his inspiration for mood rings. The mood ring was one of the biggest fashion fads of the 1970s. Each mood ring contained a temperature-sensitive liquid crystal encased in quartz. As the body temperature of the wearer changed, the crystals would change colors. Each color the ring displayed supposedly corresponded to a different mood. So let's just briefly talk about what each color would mean. Amber meant nervous or unhappy. Green was like the average color that people would get. It was a pretty popular color. It meant calm, relaxed, average. Blue meant that your emotions were charged, active, deep thinking, intense. Violet or pink meant you're passionate, excited, very happy, or romantic. Red meant that you're angry or stressed. Black meant that you're tense or nervous. It also could have meant a broken crystal, which we'll talk about in a second. And gray meant strained, anxious, afraid, and exhausted. And apparently gray is the most rare color to get on a mood ring. And I mean, I had mood rings all throughout my childhood, and I never got gray. I would usually get like pink and red and green. Now you're probably wondering, how accurate are these things really? And from a scientific perspective, the ring changes color based on your body temperature, which sometimes could indicate mood. It says, for example, if you're under stress, your body directs your blood towards your internal organs, which means less blood is reaching your finger. So that would change the color accordingly. Another example is that when you're excited, more blood will flow to your fingers because your heart is pumping, which would then in turn change the color of the ring. So it's really more about your body temperature than your mood, but I guess they could coincide in a way. It would also depend on where you are. Are you out in the winter cold? Are you out on a hot beach? And what a lot of people don't know is that mood rings can be completely destroyed if you put them underwater, which is something I wish I knew as a kid because, you know, kids are like curious. I remember I used to have them all the time and I would go and like wash my hands and see how the color would change. That's not good, that will destroy it. So basically, the inventor of the mood ring made an absolute fortune off of it, like millions and millions would sell each year. But what's funny is that after that whole craze was over, he went and invented the ThighMaster exercise machine. So it's a little bit different than a mood ring. And I mean, good for him. It seems like he's an awesome inventor. It's just funny how like mood ring, ThighMaster. It's just so different, you know? In 2004, a woman created a mood collar for pets intended to improve their emotional health. So she made this collar so you can tell like what your pet was thinking and feeling. They even have mood ring toilet seats now and a mood ring Xbox controller. So people really took this mood ring thing and put it on like every single item. So now here's the kind of weird fact that not a lot of people realized. Mood rings actually have a lifespan. They don't last forever, they die. Did you like, mood rings die. Apparently the heat sensitive crystals inside of the mood ring can only change color for a period of 2 years maximum. And once they couldn't change color anymore, they would just turn black. So basically, if your mood ring turns black, it either means that you're tense and anxious or it's dead. And people weren't prepared for this and it kind of freaked them out. I mean, imagine wearing it every single day and seeing it change to these beautiful bright colors depending on your mood. And then one day you wake up and it's just like black. I would like think I was dead or something. So now let's get into some creepier facts. Many people may not know that mood rings can be used for spirit communication. I don't know why every single thing seems to lead back to communicating with spirits, but that's just how it goes. I don't know why. Here we are yet again. So basically, the different colors that appear on your ring represents different answers. Because if you think about it, your ring changes depending on your energy, right? And spirits seem to be the know-it-alls of how to control energy. So some people will literally just sit down and be like, hey, if there's any spirit in the room, change my ring color to red. And if that happens, there's a spirit in the room. Some people will even tie their mood ring to a string and use it as a pendulum. A pendulum usually refers to any weighted object that can swing back and forth. These are usually used for paranormal reasons. So the psychic or medium would hold the string with the object on the bottom and would ask a question, and depending on which way the object swings, that's yes or no. So some paranormal investigators find it cool to have the yes or no on the pendulum, but also the color change. So the spirit can answer a question, but also show their emotion. It's all a lot. It's a lot, you know. Other people will even go as far as casting a spell onto their mood ring, just to help the spirit communicate with the colors. There are even websites out there where you can buy a mood ring that already has a spell cast on it, so you don't have to do the work. And obviously I would never encourage you guys to do these things. Please listen to me. I've said it a million times. It can be very dangerous to communicate with spirits. I'm just telling you guys the history and how things are used. I wanted to give examples of how mood rings have a darker side because you just wouldn't expect it, but like, don't do any of this stuff, please, okay? Let's talk about some pretty controversial mood ring recalls. There have been tons of dangerous recalls over the years, and it's because almost every year they are found to have toxic levels of lead. And I think this is because they've tried to make mood rings as cheap as possible to sell in places like dollar stores. So the cheaper the materials, the more lead you'll probably find in jewelry. And you know, kids, they like to put everything in their mouth and it's just too toxic for their system. So for example, in 2004, 580,000 mood rings were recalled for toxic lead. And in 2005, 40,000 mood rings and mood necklaces called the love testers were also recalled. Those are just two examples. It happens all the time. I'm really hoping that now in 2019 they fixed the problem. I hope so. To end this video, I'm going to be telling you guys a story about a haunted mood ring. This is not my story. This is an article I found online. It's from an anonymous author, so I don't know, it's kind of spooky. So it's a about this girl who got a mood ring for her birthday back in 2006 when she was 11 years old. She would wear it absolutely everywhere because just like me, she was fascinated with the fact that it could turn colors throughout the day. One day she randomly decided to place this mood ring on the hand of one of her porcelain dolls in her bedroom. As soon as she put this ring on her doll, it instantly turned a bright red color, which as you guys saw would mean like anger and being tense. It's usually associated with like bad energy. So she took it off the doll's hand and immediately it turned back to like a nice green color. So she decided to put this ring on her other dolls just to see if maybe the red color was normal. But when she tested that theory, they all stayed green on her other dolls. But this one doll, it would turn red the second it was put on there. She was so afraid by this that she refused to keep this doll in her room any longer. And from that day forward, whenever she got a doll as a gift, she would first take her mood ring and put it onto the doll to make sure it was safe enough to be in her room. If it ever turned red, she did not want to keep the doll. So I guess technically the mood ring wasn't haunted, it was more like the doll that was haunted, but I don't know, guys. That is so creepy. Anyways, those are all of the mood ring facts I'm gonna talk about today. If I missed anything pretty cool, definitely comment it down below. Don't forget, if you would like to meet my sister and I on November 30th, the ticket link is down below, along with all of the Christmas mystery boxes that are selling so quickly. Anyways, guys, I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!